Now, tomorrow, the tragic events that the world, not only South Africa, witnessed at Marikana will be remembered. The commemorations will mark the 16th of August 2012, when 34 mine workers were killed when police officers opened fire with assault rifles near the Marikana platinum mine in the Northwest Province. The Farlam Commission of Enquiry presented the violence by the strikers as one of the central causes of the massacre, but it also made strong findings against the police and mining company Lonmin. It did find that Lonmin did not sufficiently try to engage with workers on ending the strike or protecting its employees. Well, 5 years on, Lonmin is saying that the Marikana massacre should be a catalyst for positive change. How? We're joined by the CEO of Lonmin, Ben Magara. Ben, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me,
I must be honest, as a journalist, it's been hard to always talk to you about this issue because you were not there. You were not CEO at the time. But does Lonmin as a company accept responsibility, if not for the shootings, for the milieu in which they happened, the housing problems, everything that had gone before?
I've been in the mining industry for almost 30 years, Francis, so I have some responsibility to talk about mining. And yes, specifically, we can talk about Lonmin. And we talk particularly about the week that changed our lives, not just the 16th. Because up to the 16th, from the 9th of August 2012 to the 16th, 44 of our colleagues died. 10 before the 16th and 34 on the 16th. The Farlam Commission, which we lend our support fully, has exposed many weaknesses from all stakeholders, as you highlight, the government, the company, the unions themselves, because the area was fraught with union rivalry, even at that same time, around the whole platinum belt. So everybody, if every stakeholder could take responsibility and lessons from the Farlam Commission, I believe we can make Marikana, as sad and unfortunate as it was, a catalyst for positive change to make sure something like this never happens again. So I think we took responsibility for what we felt we learned from it. And I think one thing we did very quickly was to acknowledge that these employees, strikers or not, were our employees before they were union members. So as management, we have a duty to engage with them, to communicate with them, to have first-hand communication with them, to make sure that we can attend to their needs, but also they can appreciate the realities of our companies and of the mining industry.
And I think you did try in the subsequent very long strike. There were SMSs and things like that.
Indeed.
Something that was wrong, though, Lonmin had committed to building 5,500 houses, if I understand correctly, in 2006 by 2011. And that was not done. One of the issues was poor housing conditions. 5 years on, people are still talking about conditions. What is the state of housing? What is happening right now?
I highlighted this as I joined Lonmin as well, that indeed the mining industry needed to do a bit more, a lot more, to ensure decent living conditions for our employees. And what we have done since Marikana 2012 is to eradicate all the single-sex legacy hostels that we used to have in the old eras. There is no more single-sex hostels at Lonmin. We have fabricated all of them into single and married accommodation. We embarked on a very focused program that we said, despite the financial challenges that we face as an industry, Lonmin committed 500 million rands for the next 5 years to build more accommodation for our employees. We were actually today cutting ribbons, making our employees move into those properties. Most of them have moved, some of them have moved in, and it's really been quite, we need to do so much more, but I really think we have done a lot while there's still so much more to do.
Did I hear you correctly recently talk about 300 or so a year houses?
Yes, that's right. And in those 5 years, we're expecting to have brought about 1,240. And we continue on that program right now.
But can I stop you there? Because if this plan in 2006 had come to fruition, that was 5,500 houses committed in 2006 to 2011. We're talking about more than 1,000 houses built per year. And now, after this tragedy, you're talking about just a third of that, not even a third of that being done per year.
Indeed, we need profitable businesses to build.
So you don't have the money?
Financially, there are constraints within the company and the mining industry as a whole. 65% of the platinum mining industry today is making a loss. So the reality is we have to mitigate job losses. We have to preserve jobs. You have to look at all the options to see what's the best way to spend this rand. And do we lose more jobs to make sure we have built the houses? So what we have come up with our unions, with the government, is to engage on a program that says what is realistic today as much as we would want to move a lot faster. But I think let me settle the story about the 5,500. These 5,500 houses was a commitment that, subject to building 3 showrooms, show houses, and employees electing which house they would prefer, there would then be construction. That process never happened. The employees never chose what they preferred to do and what they preferred to have. So that process really never took off. So understandably, where we have moved on to is in line with our social and labor plan and in line with the South African laws, we have eliminated single-sex hostels. We have continued to build more properties. So as I speak to you now, those single-sex hostels we converted made almost 3,000 houses as well for single and married quarters, in addition to the apartments that we were opening today.
Okay, so you feel like you are doing enough. What about, I mean, we often forget that about 70 people were wounded, beyond those killed. What is your relationship with those mine workers who I imagine maybe can't work, some of them, and the families of those who were killed? Is there any relationship right now?
There is indeed a relationship. What we immediately did, 3 weeks after I joined Lonmin, I traveled around the Eastern Cape, allowed some of the kids from Lesotho to visit us around our facilities at Lonmin. But all the kids of our slain 44 colleagues are in school today, paid for by Lonmin. The first graduate has just graduated with a BSc in agriculture. We can never bring their loved ones back, but we could surely make their lives better. And all of them, recently I visited again to the Eastern Cape, visited all the kids to see if they are learning and to encourage them and to give them support and make sure they realize that Lonmin has committed to make sure that we can take them to their full potential in terms of education, up to tertiary university. So that we have done. We offered a job for every one of the family members of our 44 late colleagues, and most of them was taken up by their widows, and they are now working with us. I was with some of them even up to today. So a lot has happened around that to make sure their lives could be different and better in the manner we can assist.
There's still a cry for justice. Maybe that involves the police, the potential cover-up. There's still a cry for compensation if there was any state culpability. Can Lonmin get involved in things like that on behalf of workers? I mean, we've seen companies before get involved in the garnishee orders as well, which was a huge issue. If you are a mine worker and your money is going on garnishee orders, you don't really have that incentive to work. What I'm saying, can you play a bigger role here?
We have played, apart from what we have done with the families of our deceased miners, we've also worked very hard with our own employees. It was clear in 2012 in the platinum belt as a whole and in the mining industry that indebtedness was a big challenge. So what we've actually done is today we are saving our employees in excess of 5 million rands a year because of financial literacy, financial planning, and helping them to reduce this indebted and make sure that these illegal loan sharks are closed. So there's been a lot of activities we have done. We also gave a transaction for our employees that 3.8% of our profits, whenever we make profits, would go to employees. And that is something that is also that we have delivered ever since Marikana 2012.
All right, and today you unveiled plans for a memorial site, and you're talking about positive change. Before we talk about the memorial, very quickly, is this not opportunistic? Now, let's use this as a catalyst for change. Because I remember a few years ago, mine workers were complaining that they weren't allowed to attend the commemorations for their slain colleagues.
I joined Lonmin in 2013. The first anniversary was in 2013, and I was present. And our employees went to the commemoration. they will be there again tomorrow, those who want to be part of the commemoration. So the arrangements we have in place is that we are conscious of the importance of the day. It's 5 years on. We want to commemorate but equally celebrate our colleagues. But in doing that, we want to respect everybody who wants to be part of that. So it's a no work and no pay, but no discipline. What is crucial as a company today is to make sure we have a thriving business to preserve jobs. Could you not do more
than that and let them go with pay, without losing pay?
If we have not delivered output, we would be loss-making. And a loss-making business cannot help with development. It cannot help with any success. Even the PA system we would have tomorrow, we would not be able to pay. So it is important. What we have said to our employees is, go and commemorate. Let's all go and commemorate. But it's a no work, no pay, no discipline. In addition, we are very happy that we will work overtime so that the employees can make money from the overtime while the company is making the production to make sure we can pay for employees. So indeed, that has been well agreed with our unions, and we think we are a step ahead to make sure this can happen amicably.
All right, unfortunately, we've run out of time. Very quickly, outline the memorial, and then we have to close.
The memorial has really been a result of having listened to many stakeholders talking about, could we be of assistance to develop a memorial around that area? What we've developed is a concept and we have designed it. It's a 3D model that one can look at and say, we want you as employees, family unions can all help us and say, please help here and help here. But we have designed it for our stakeholders to put their input. And we think it will be very good for all of us.
All right, thank you so much, Ben Magara, CEO of Lonmin. With that, let's take a quick look at how the markets performed today.